GBTC charges 1.5% in fees, which is about 4 times more than most. Is Grayscale CEO dumb or super smart? Let's think through this. GBTC had $28 billion worth of Bitcoin under their management before the Bitcoin ETFs were approved. Most of the new Bitcoin ETFs launched with fees lower than 0.4%, but Grayscale decided to keep their management fees at 1.5%, which is very high. The CEO of Grayscale justified the high management fees, stating that they have the proven track records compared to the new entrants. I understand that they have been doing this for a while and so far had a pretty good track record. But I wonder if his argument is 100% defensible or if there are other reasons. A typical ETF has to track the spot price of the underlying securities closely to manage the fund. Usually they track more than one security according to the fund's rules. In case of a Bitcoin ETF, the fund managers have to track only one asset, that is Bitcoin. While tracking a crypto asset may be new for some of these fund managers, it is not really a rocket science. I would even argue that it is a lot easier than tracking multiple securities in the traditional markets once the initial process is established. Since these fund managers have a lot of experience with managing ETFs, I think it is very safe to assume that they will be able to establish their track record pretty quickly in managing Bitcoin ETF as well. So I don't consider this as a strong advantage for Grayscale. The other major technical challenge is about holding the Bitcoin in their custody. Since they are all using Coinbase or Galaxy as the custodian, Grayscale doesn't have any additional competitive advantage here either. Now that makes me wonder why Grayscale is so confident that people would be willing to stay with them and continue to pay 1.5% for their track record. Let's do some math. For the $28 billion worth of assets under their management, when they charge 1.5% in fees, they would stand to make $420 million per year or $35 million per month in fees, assuming none of their customers would leave them. Hypothetically, if they decided to go with 0.25% in fees to match the best of the pack like BlackRock and Fidelity, then they would only make $70 million per year or $5.8 million per month. That is $350 million or 86% less in fees, which is probably a huge number to swallow for Grayscale management. Let's look at another alternative. If they were to go with 0.40% fees, revenues from the fees would have dropped to $112 million per year or $9.3 million per month, which is about 75% less. Still a huge drop in revenue for Grayscale. Of course, they didn't want to give up that much revenue in fees. Honestly, neither would I. Beyond this fee conundrum, I am pretty sure they also knew that some folks would exit the fund anyway, even if they went live with 1.5% fees. So I am guessing that they probably created a model to estimate the loss in AUM and what it does for their short-term and long-term revenue projections. For example, if they keep these fees at 1.5% just for 3 months and then drop to 0.25%, assuming they would lose about $2 billion in AUM per month, they would still end up making $138 million in fees during the first year. As you can see, this is a much better option than going directly to 0.25% on day one, which would have dropped their revenue to $70 million during the first year. Pretty smart, right? That is not all. There is a lot more to this story. Thank you for watching so far. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It will help me a lot. Thanks in advance. Let's continue. Grayscale probably knew very well that some of the account holders would have left GBTC for reasons beyond fees, like rebalancing across multiple funds for liquidation safety or moving assets to their business partners, etc. Also, thanks to Bitcoin price action, people who invested in GBTC during the year 2020 or last year would be currently enjoying about 400% increase. And if they were to choose to exit GBTC, they would owe Uncle Sam a lot of money in capital gains. So, these customers are better off staying with GBTC and let their wealth grow without any tax implications at this point. So they are practically stuck in GBTC. Considering all of this, Grayscale CEO probably expected this initial drop in AUM to be limited and short-lived. After all, folks at Grayscale are not dumb, they are very smart, evil geniuses. It all makes sense now. We do not know how much AUM Grayscale management is willing to lose, while they continue to milk this cash cow as much as possible, before reducing the fees. Eventually, they would have to reduce the fees though. Otherwise, it is impossible for them to attract new fund flows into GBTC. They may change their mind very quickly if the Bitcoin price starts to come down below 30,000, as that would erase capital gains for a lot of folks. and they would quickly exit GBTC in favor of lower fee options like IBIT, FBTC, and BITB. Let's wait and see Bitcoin performs and what Grayscale CEO would do in the future. Until next time, stay alert and follow the money.